I find Ridley Scott such a fascinating director, as he seems willing to direct any kind of movie and will jump from one project to another if the idea catches his interest. Some of his movies I've liked, while others have underwhelmed me, but I'll always be curious what he decides to make. With The Dog Stars, he tries his hand at a post-apocalyptic film, but the result does not do anything new or exciting with the concept. It's a film that's mainly reliant on the actors to draw interest, because the story does not do anything to set it apart from other films about humans trying to live in a world with few survivors. Scott is primarily known for directing epic films, and The Dog Stars does at least make the most of its largely empty land. Jacob Elordi does well in playing the lead character Hig, and shown what he does throughout the day as he hangs out with his dog. He becomes a likable character, even if he's a pretty standard heroic character dealing with the loss of his wife from this virus that has wiped out most of humanity. At a certain point, I did feel boredom set in, as what the characters, including a friend of Hig's played by Josh Brolin, are saying are not that interesting. Things pick up a bit when he runs into a father and daughter and we see how they connect. It is a little interesting seeing how they eventually become friends, and Guy Pearce is able to show him slowly trusting Hig after an initially bad first impression. Eventually, the same disinterest sets in as Scott paces the film slowly through these character building moments. The movie throws in a few antagonists who are the usual villainous forces we see in these movies. Scott tries to spruce up the action when Elordi and Brolin go up against them, but it's a lot of the expected shooting and explosions. It's hard for me to care about this threat because they're just crazed people running around and causing destruction, and that's it. Then there's the really bizarre turn The Dog Stars takes at one point. This sequence is so tonally inconsistent with the rest of the movie, and I just sat there befuddled with the direction taken during that section. One minute you're watching a fairly low-key post-apocalyptic movie, and then you get some strange performances and odd imagery that only barely connects with what comes before and after. You might think this would have at least provided a jolt of excitement, but I was perplexed more than anything. The Dog Stars just seem to go through a lot of the post-apocalyptic beats without saying much. The actors all do good jobs and provide a bit of investment in their characters, although they're still very underdeveloped on the page. There are long stretches where not a whole lot happens, and when Ridley Scott throws a bit of action into the mix, I found it hard to care. And the potential is there to do something thematically rich with people dealing with surviving a deadly pandemic and how that affects them, but it only barely touches on that. The Dog Stars just winds up fairly ordinary and unremarkable.